In Matthew 15, verse 32, it says, Jesus called his disciples to him and said, I have compassion for these people. They have already been with me 3 days and have nothing to eat. I do not want to send them away hungry, or they may collapse on the way. I want to run the idea by you that God created us with needs. He did that intentionally because he is a good father and he desires to meet the needs of his children. We see him meet their physical healing needs. We see him then provide for their hunger. And, he also created us with needs like food, sleep, health like we saw, relationships, purpose. And I want to share this passage with you in regard to us being able to come to God and ask for our needs to be met. This is Matthew chapter 7, verse 9, and 9 through 11. Which of you, if his son asks for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will give him a snake? If you then, though you are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good gifts to those who ask him? God is a good father, and he knows how to meet the needs of his children. Just like any natural parent desires to be the provider for their own kids. God is just way better at it than we are. Thankfully, if we come to him, he'll teach us to be good providers as well. But look, another bread reference in verse 9. If his son asks for bread, will he give him a stone? If you ask for the things you need, is God going to play a joke on you and give you something worthless? Absolutely not. Just like we wouldn't as natural parents. But why do we have to come to God to ask? If he already knows our needs, why does he tell us to ask for what we need? And the point here is that God desires relationship. He loves to give us good things, but above all, he desires relationship with us. And I think that's pretty exciting and humbling to think that way. And when we realize that our needs are a opportunity to connect with God, then whenever a need comes up, we see it as an invitation to come to the Lord, ask him, connect with him, and receive his goodness and his care. So what do you need? Go to God with your needs. If you need healing, if you need provision, if you need eternal life, he gives the children's bread, and he gives the bread of life for eternal life. You can ask him. Back in Matthew 15, verse 36 and 37, it says, Then he took the 7 loaves and the fish, and when he had given thanks, he broke them and gave them to the disciples. And they in turn to the people. They all ate and were satisfied. Afterward, the disciples picked up 7 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. Now remember, this act is not just about what Jesus is doing, it's revealing who he is. God gives not just enough, but he gives in abundance. 7 loaves fed 4,000 people and then turned into 7 basketfuls. And, all that Jesus is for us, but the fulfillment of our purpose in abundant life doesn't just stop with us receiving good things from Jesus, whether it be healing or eternal life or provision like we've been talking about. The fulfillment of our purpose comes in giving it away. Remember, there's more than enough. And Jesus breaks the bread, gives it to the disciples, allows them to participate in his ministry of providing for the people. This is where fulfillment is found. We say yes to Jesus. We have him in our lives, but we get to give him away. We get to pray for healing for people. We get to share the message of eternal life with people. And, this is what Jesus is inviting us to live for in partnership with his ministry. And when we do this, we get to experience that it is better to give than to receive. God experiences that all the time, but he's inviting us to share the Father's joy of providing for the people. So I want to encourage you. Jesus is not divided. He loves to bless us, and he loves to offer us eternal life. If you have needs, please go to God and ask him. He loves to connect with you, and you can experience his goodness and provision in your life. And as you receive, you're going to have more than enough. And I want to encourage you, partner with the ministry of Jesus and give away. Freely give. Freely you have received, freely give. Give away what God has blessed you with so that others can experience the goodness of our King as well.